What's going on YouTube? Jake Verdon Tech here, and today we got a video on desk setups, and more specifically we're going to be talking about cable management accessories to help your desk setup look a little bit neater and a little bit tidier when it comes to cable management. So no surprise, it is not always easy keeping your desk setup looking clean when it comes to cable management, especially when you start adding more and more peripherals, talking about multi-monitor setups and peripherals like mouse, keyboards, external microphones like this one, headset. It all adds up, and the more peripherals you have, obviously the more wires you're going to have in your desk setup. So in this video we're going to go over some techniques on how to better hide your cables and manage your cables, along with some accessories that I have found over the past couple years that have really helped improve my cable management on my desk setup. And they're pretty inexpensive items, and they come in handy when it comes to keeping your desk setup looking organized. So as far as principles go when cable managing your desk setup, some things that kind of help. Obviously the first one is going to be, if you can hide the cables, it is best to do so. Out of sight, out of mind. So you won't be able to see it from a front facing view of your desk. That's always a good way to go. But not all desks are that easy to cable manage. This one, fortunately, I do have a wooden back plate where I can hide a lot of cables and peripheral power bricks and stuff like that behind it, but not all desks have that luxury. So there's other ways you kind of have to improvise, and if you can't hide it, you got to at least make it look nice in plain sight or hide it in plain sight. So another principle I can think of off the top of my head is routing the cables in one direction, which is pretty easy to do, sometimes by accident, because when you have your PC in one location on your desk, most of the cables are going to be routing to that PC, mostly being your peripherals like your monitors, mouse and keyboard, maybe a microphone and headset, stuff like that, and it'll all be going towards the PC because that's where they obviously have to connect. And lastly, if you guys can, or if it is your preference, wireless peripherals do make life a lot easier, because usually per item it's 1 to 2 less cables you have running along your desk setup. But personally, I'm not huge on wireless peripherals for a number of reasons. So everything I have in this setup is actually wired, and there is ways to make wired look decent. So we're going to talk about some of those in this video. So now going over some of the accessories that I use to help cable manage my desk setup. And a lot of them are items that I didn't even know existed until I started working in IT a couple years ago, and as we're running lines and cables all the time. So these are just kind of items I've kind of found over the past couple years that are really inexpensive, and they can take your setup a long way as far as keeping it looking neat and really doing a good job of cable managing. So the first cable management accessory I have on the list is probably an obvious one to many, and I'm sure not many of you don't know about these, but the almighty zip tie. So these obviously come in handy when cable managing your desk setup, and bundling cables and routing them to your PC just makes things look a lot neater and a lot more organized. And you can bundle them and, tuck them into certain areas of your desk. But taking that one step further, we have the zip tie mounts, which is one of the items I didn't really know existed until a couple of years ago. But these really come in handy. So basically it's got a little slot on each side so you can run zip ties through it, and then it's got a self-adhesive back so you can stick it to any surface, and that'll secure any cables to a surface that you have. So just for example, the zip tie runs through just like that, and then you're able to secure the zip tie and bundle any cables you might have in there. So these little things go a long way when cable managing your desk setup. I'm also going to have links down below if you guys want to check out some of these items I mentioned in the video. So that way you know what terms to search for and where to find them. So the next accessory I have on the list, which is kind of a different one and can be used with the zip tie mounts that I just showed, but some of this heavy duty two-sided Scotch tape really comes in handy if you need to stick any sort of power brick to behind your desk or mount it that way without drilling into your actual desk. This stuff comes in handy. It's super rugged, and I do use it for the power bricks on my external monitors that I have up here, as they're pretty hefty, but they hold them very well with just a small piece on the back, and I'm able to stick it to the back plate of my desk. And talking about items where if you can't hide the particular group of cables or something like that, and they have to be visible, at least making it look nice will help out your desk setup quite a bit. And this mesh cable sleeving does a really good job of making the cables look nice and being able to bundle up in plain sight. And this is what I use for behind my PC, as like I mentioned, there's a lot of wires running to your PC typically, you know, mouse, keyboard, monitors, all sorts of stuff, and it's nice being able to conceal them a little bit in this mesh cable sleeving. Another thing you can use if you're running different types of cables along maybe a wall or something like that, and you don't want to run it inside the wall, another good thing to use are, these are like cable concealers, and they come in, you know, different colors as well. This one is in white. They call them cable concealers, cable channels, conduit. There's a couple different terms for them. Like I said, I'll have these linked below as well, but basically it is exactly how it sounds. It is a channel for your cables, and you can kind of run that on a wall or something like that. Put the cables in there, and then it has a top portion that is like a cap for it, and it just snaps in pretty nice. So those really come in handy, and I've used them on my desk setup, mainly for the dual monitors I have up above, as you have to run cables up the wall to get to them. Obviously, that's going to be your power cables, HDMI, and there's going to be one of each on both monitors. So having those run up the wall makes it look much nicer, and I was able to blend it in with my 3D art panels that I have on the wall, and it looks pretty tidy for the most part. These cable channels too, most of the time come in a kit if you order them online, and the kit comes with a two-sided adhesive so you can stick it to a wall or desk, whatever you might be using them for. And then they also come with different angles as well, so if you have a 90-degree bend you want to do, they usually have an angled cap for that. One accessory I haven't used on my desk setup, but I know comes in handy for many desks that maybe don't have any sort of backplating where you can hide cables behind it, is a cable management basket. You guys have probably seen these from IKEA and other retailers like that. But basically it's just a little basket that mounts to underneath the desktop, and you can just lay cables and different stuff in it, and it keeps it lifted up and nice and secure. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I just wanted to put together this video on some, mainly for the accessories that I've used to help cable manage my desk setup, and those accessories that have really helped me out making my desk setup look a little bit nicer. Desk setups, they're never going to be perfect. There's always going to be certain things that are kind of hard to cable manage, but these little accessories really help out a lot, and they're pretty inexpensive for the most part. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like on it, and if you want to see more tech related videos like this one, be sure to subscribe. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.